I will go broke on this refit. Okay, start stamping.
I thought we have to wait till it's dry.
No, this is going to dry right away.
It was a little difficult because Matt ran me astray. I'm gonna blame him.
Gotta torch it. Growing up, I was like this 2x4. You know, people disregarded me.
I'm Kristen, and this is Matt. We've spent the last 4 years sailing our $5,000 Craigslist boat to some of the most beautiful places in the Caribbean. From spearfishing in South Andros, Bahamas, staying in a treehouse and riding horses through the rainforest of the Dominican Republic, to even dodging hurricanes in Puerto Rico. We could have never imagined what this adventure would become. After gaining more sailing experience, we knew we had to make some serious upgrades to our boat if we wanted to keep this journey going. So we decided to go all in with our 40-year-old boat and get a new engine. We soon realized that we were in for more projects than we originally planned on. There's gonna be some major changes coming up, so hit subscribe and join us for the journey. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Sailing GBU. We have some good news. I want to start this video off with some good news. We have our stove finally came in. It's looking flashy. It's looking boss. We've already fitted in. It fit perfectly into our spot, so that was no problems there. And we've been slowly working on our countertop that you saw in the previous video. So that's gonna get all smoothed out. We still have to sand it some more, but that's the good news. You got dirt on your face.
I would have never guessed that I would have had dirt on my face in this environment. But yeah, the stove is really, really cool. It kind of, I have some trepidations though because it's got some holes in the back that's like right behind the main heating thing. So I'm like, if you're baking cookies in here, which I fully plan to be doing, the heat's just going to be blasting out the back, heating up the whole boat. I'm in the Caribbean, so, you know, I'm not trying to boil up in the boat. But either way, that's one big thing we got. That was a big part that we were waiting on for a while. And now that we've gotten our counter in, we got our cool sliding door in, the cabinets are starting to look cool. We got our bar made. We got our half bath.
Yeah,
we're starting to see it. It's starting to look cool. And I'm like, okay, I think we'll eventually be done. It's still going to be a long time. And I'm going to have to spend every single red cent and every thin dime that I ever made on this boat, but I don't care. I will go broke on this refit. So for all you haters,
I won't let you go broke.
For all you haters, say,
I don't.
Why spend all that money on a hunter? First of all, hunters are cool. You just think they're not cool because some guy in a Whitby told you they weren't cool. But hunters are actually really cool. So I'm all in. We're all in.
Well, you're coming out aggressive in this video.
I'm punching my hands. I'm you today.
Anyways, well, I'm glad you have this aggression because you're going to be going in that V-berth and you're going to have to chop some things up for me. So we're going to be starting this video off with some projects that we don't know are going to work out, so that's always frustrating. So let's get right into it.
Let's go. Alright, so obviously I put a lot of time and effort already into this V-berth to make this La Casa for mi amor. I built a very special V-berth cabinet. We did the shiplap on the walls, limitless things that I have to do. So one of the old things in the boat was this port that went out. Obviously it's hideous. You can never get in here to clean it. It's starting to get rustied out. And I could just take these 4 bolts off and pop it out completely, but that would destroy my paint job on the top that I worked very hard on. So I don't want to destroy that and have like a huge touch-up area. So I'm thinking
what is it?
I think it used to be like a chimney for the guy. This boat, even though Hunter sucks so bad, this one's crossed the Atlantic twice, and it's cold over there in Ireland. So I think he probably had a heater that went out from this thing. Probably had a little heater here, and then this was the exit for it. But I really have no idea. So if you guys know, let me know. But I think that's what it was for. But either way, I don't want to take the whole thing out. So I think I can just chop it off here and then fix it from the inside with some fiberglass and everybody's favorite, James Bondo.
Oh, gosh. All right, let's go.
All right, so not the smoothest cuts I've ever gotten into. It looks a little bit rambunctious, but it's going to get smoothed out, and it'll be as if it never was. Luckily for me, it wasn't steel. It was a some sort of copper alloy or some sort of softer alloy, so it wasn't sparking my face the whole time. Definitely sent some shavings my way, but Safety Steve right here, Fire Marshal Bill, taught me to be safe. I said, let me show you something, and just run a grinder 2 inches from your face the whole time. So happy about that. Just got to come back and repair it later. But before I get into that, that's not the last one. This guy had multiple heaters. This must have been like the coldest, cold-blooded mofo on earth. So I got another hole that I gotta, what's it called? Disembowel?
Ew.
No, demolish. Demolish.
Ew.
All right, so this one's looking a little bit easier. It's looking like there's some flathead screws that just go around this one. Of course, we all know that's a joke. There's no way these are coming out, or I'm gonna break my bed. Paint over them 100 times. So it could be, from looking at it, just as simple as putting that drill in there and taking these screws out and pulling it out, but something tells me it just won't be that easy.
So far it seems like it's working, but I bet the very last one will break on us. How many more you got?
Last one. This will be the stripper. I call this one cinnamon because this one finished strip. You know what I'm saying? I call this one Trixie.
Oh, came right out.
I was being a negative Nancy and I couldn't get...
Ned.
I was being a negative Ned and I thought I was going to have to struggle to get that out, but it actually came out super easy.
Ned Flanders.
Kristen been calling me Ned Flanders with my mustache, and I tried to tell her Ned Flanders was sexy. Okay, everybody knows Red Flanders. Ned Flanders had that, you know, he had that way about him. But either way, this is just a piece of round wood. Came off really nice. So now I have to do is cut that out and put a piece of wood in there, and then my favorite Bondo and fiberglass. A little bit of
But
sanding.
how are you gonna get that texture?
Kristen says we could probably wad up like some
we're hoping
tinfoil or plastic when I'm like to the, I call it the green stage of the West Systems, when it's like almost dry but you can still put some dents in it. And I think maybe we can, West Systems, put that little tinfoil in there and maybe get that texture hopefully. And even if it's smooth, it's going to be more subtle than anything else. Maybe I should put like a light in there or something. Maybe we should put a light in there?
No.
No? Now that I got my void fillers perfectly fitted in, I'm going to whip up my Bondo, stick them in there, and start Bondoing. Everybody's favorite. Alright, so I got the first hitter in there. Now I'm going to cut another little filler so that I have to use, you know, less Bondo, less fiberglass. The wood is free, so the other stuff's more expensive.
The wood is not free.
Well, the scrap wood is free. Okay, so with the fiberglass reinforced Bondo, I got enough in there that I'm gonna let that sizzle. I'm gonna let that cook up for about 30 minutes. Gonna get rock hard, then I'm gonna come back and sand it.
That's what she said.
And then I'm gonna hit it with the filler later on. My mom likes it when I say you should leave the jokes to me, so just leave the jokes to me.
I bet she does.
That's a shout out to you here, Betty Boop. So I got my first layer of fiber fill. I always go with the fiber fill first because it's got fiberglass strands in it, short strands, and it holds everything together a lot stronger and there's less shifting, especially when I'm holding together those filler pieces to the existing fiberglass. But now I have to sand that, therefore I'm going to put on some long sleeves because that stuff is super itchy. It's terrible stuff. But I'm going to get it knocked down, and then that's going to be one step in my Madman Bondo plan. And then the next one's going to be the body filler, which is going to smooth it out. And then I'm running out of daylight today. I'd like to get to the epoxy fiberglassing it in, but I don't think I'm going to get to it, but maybe. But either way, right now, it's Sandman time. You know, this is kind of funny here, bae. Can you believe that somebody woke up on Sunday morning just to watch me wipe my brown hole?
You're breathing in too many fume holes.
Now that's a funny joke.
Fume holes? I don't even know. I've been breathing too much fumes. We need to get out of here.
Now that I got the itchy stuff done with, it's looking pretty good. I'm happy with my progress. Now I'm going to get to the finer filler so that I can get that smoother edge before I will then move forward with my epoxy.
Alright guys, it's the next day and we're ready to start putting on the fiberglass on those holes. Get that smoothed up. We're going to try to... Dang it, we forgot our foil. We're going to try to mock up the details of the texture of this to see if we can even do that. If not, we're not going to worry about it too much. It is what it is. And then we also have some other things that I'm going to be doing today, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
Mock-ups, experiments. We got to try.
Experiments. Well, let's get into work before we let this day get away from us.
Yeah, oh my Lord, watch me sway. Darkness falls and we all pray, hoping for the light of day. Down to the river I have held the devil's hand, felt the weight of my own sin, burdened by the heart of man. Down to the river, down to the river. Oh, oh, bury me, carry me, oh, oh, far beneath, oh, oh, fire and water me, going down deep, saying, oh, oh, bury me, carry me.
Alright guys, so as you can see, I'm using the thinnest glass possible. Before all my fiberglass aficionados go buck wild at me in the comments, this is not structural, this is purely aesthetic, and this is going to be a lot smoother just so I don't get a crack in my Bondo after I paint it. So Don't get crazy with me. I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm using. I love y'all, but you know, every now and again somebody come to the party that really got to cuss me out for using thin fiberglass. Alright, I got a few bubbles in there when I touched it up, so I got to torch it.
It's time for us to try a little bit of mock-up. We forgot the tinfoil upstairs and we didn't want to run up there. But I had an old peanut wrapper that I think I made into a cool little stamp. So we're going to test it out.
I got some tape that I made a stamp out of, and I have this old brush that had some like epoxy on it before. So I made like, I can be able to slash at that and get that random print.
It's not going to work. It's going to be this.
We're going to see.
My old peanut wrapper.
Let's see. Whew. And this one go off fast, so you better get to stamping quick.
I know what I'm doing. This is gonna work out, and we're gonna be really amazed.
Okay, start stamping.
I thought we had to wait till it's dry.
No, this is going to dry right away.
Oh, well, don't take them all the stamp room.
I'm not.
Okay. Okay, I think you stamp it with this, and then you take this bag, and you do that. You just pat it down and pull it back up. Okay, but how do we need it to go flatter? I like my look. No. I like my look, but I would need it to go flat. Okay, now I gotta let that dry. So we got two different textures. Vote down below, me or Matt's texture. Mine was a little difficult because Matt ran me astray. I'm gonna blame him. He made me start stamping when the product was too wet. You needed to wait till it got a little bit tacky. But I came up with a quick plan to get a bag and slap it in for a little bit. So maybe with a little bit of sanding, mine will turn into that elephant skin look. Yours just looks like dry crap. Anyways.
Yeah, mine didn't come out quite
Let's
right.
move along with our projects. Right, there's no real way of telling if these textures are good until we actually paint them. So we're just gonna paint them with a quick spray paint hit, and then we'll be able to decide if any of these are gonna work out. Right, Matt?
Right.
Got it done, we got it painted. I have to say mine didn't come out good. I thought I was cool. We sanded this one a little bit more down to make it flatter. Then I had this one, but mine's just too busy, and Matt's stringier look actually looked a little bit better.
You heard it here first.
But I still don't think it's really quite good enough, so we're gonna test some other things out. We're gonna keep going, and eventually we'll show a final product on that. And if you're curious to see any final products ahead of time, make sure you do check out our Patreon. We take photos and we post about the final projects before you see them in the videos. So
yeah, we make Patreon only posts, nothing new. You know, same old stuff. But we do some cool stuff over there, and you get to be ahead of the game. But I think in my artisticalness, if I use some of this wire and like scrape through, it'll make more of a random. I need those cuts to be a little deeper so that when I sand it comes out a little bit better. And I know what you're thinking is kind of crazy, guys, but when you're laying on your settee and you're looking up at your cabin top, whatever it's called, you don't want to see like patches and you know, weird flat spots. You're like, huh, what happened there? You want to get rid of it. You know, it's only taken us 20-30 minutes so far, so it's worth it. But as you know, we're peanut butter pieing everything in here, and we have a veneer that we're going to use, but for some trims and obviously for some edges where I'm going to have to mount door brackets to and things like that, I'm not going to want to do that to just laminated plywood, plywood with a veneer on it. So I have 3 different woods. One is a hardwood, it's maple. I have just an old plain pine 2x4 and a pine treated 1x. And I'm going to try to sand those down and see if I have the stain that can match up to be like to blend in somewhat, so that I'll be able to make some of those more structural parts that are going to look better than just a finished edge of laminate. I think it'll look a little funky without a finished edge. So I'm going to get this today. I found a stain that I think is close, and I'm going to see if I can match them up. First, I'm going to do the one that I think has the least chance of working. It's the treated pine. Now we're going to move on to the untreated pine, or what I think is untreated pine. I don't really know what these are, but
you don't know what you bought?
I bought one in there and said, let me get a 2x4. I'm pretty sure they're just made out of pine, but who could ever know? And, you know, I get a lot of heat for people saying, how could you use pine? You know, you're working so hard on your boat. Why don't you buy some nice hardwood? You know what? I know I can go down there and buy some rich mahogany and make it look perfect. The talent in life is taking something that's not meant to be beautiful or great and making it beautiful. You know, growing up...
Sounds like you just like making your life hard.
Growing up, I was like this 2x4. You know, people disregarded me, said that boy ain't never gonna be nothing but just some hard-headed youngin' from the streets. But I turned myself into a beautiful piece of hardwood, and I'm gonna do that with this 2x4 too. Now I got this maple, and I hope this one works because I got an aunt named Maple, and it'd be nice to have some maple on the boat. I'm going to add a second layer down half of these just so I can see how much value I get for adding a second layer for depth of color.
You sound like a weird professional.
I am a weird professional.
Make it rich. Make it rich.
Yeah, we want to get a rich value here. I'm not sure if that's what wood stainers say.
The opacity needs to be...
Yeah, the opacity. Alright guys, so I got my 3 baby boys here. I'm not blown away. None of them are calling me super duper. This one's the closest, I think, just because it's the most neutral. And I could be able to, with a different sand, go into it and get a different, I guess when I sand it, I get a different texture, a different grain, which does seem to change the stain color a little bit. So I might have some experimenting. I could almost live with that, but these two are definitely out. The pine was just far too green on the treated one. I mean, not way off, but...
You can't tell too much on camera. I'm looking through the lens thing. The lighting's a little dark right now, but...
A little too yellow on that one, so... The maple is so far the winner. It grabs some. See, that's the thing with the peanut butter pie. Like, here, that color is almost there. But then as it slides up to there, it clashes.
We got that all situated. Obviously, we have to do a little more experimenting. I think we're going to probably sand some of that. We also need a stain, I feel like, that's more satin than gloss to go with the veneer. And so we have some work to do. But thanks for peeking into our life this week and looking into our experiments and seeing what we're up to on this big old project.
Yeah, and I never stopped experimenting. I just picked up a piece of PVC and put some stain on it with the stripes. You can't really see, but if you see the stripe, oh, you can't. I got no camera skills, but I got some stripes on here, so I think, you know, that might look kind of cool.
It's not going to look cool.
We'll see.
There's a reason why I'm the designer.
She's the interior decorator. I'm just the labor.
Anyways, guys, make sure you subscribe if you're new here. Check out our Patreon if you want to see in real time of all of our projects. And that's it for me. We got a lot more work to do, but we are notching them down. I know we say that every week, but I think we're getting through. We're getting through. Once we can start painting the white to refix all the things and making sure behind the cabinets are all painted and sanded down, then we can get to the veneering, and then we got to get the cushions refixed up and
lights, plumbing. It's over, guys. It's over for us. We're a refit channel now. Never sailing again. We're never going to see the wide open blue. Ain't going to be no dolphins.
Get out of here. We're going to have dolphins this year. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. I haven't seen a dolphin in a long time. Anyways, We'll see you guys next week. Bye.